Hi, my name is Maya. I'm with HIneni Gems, and this is Jeff.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are going to be talking about and discovering the beauty of opals. This beautiful gemstone has so many radiant colors due to its characteristic known as play of color. This beautiful gemstone opals takes tens of millions of years to form, and there are no two opals alike, as their formation is uniquely dependent upon the chemistry and geology of these gemstones. Opals are considered by many to be one of the precious gemstones, and they are only located in a few locations across the globe, such as Brazil, Ethiopia, Honduras, Mexico, Indonesia, the US, and Australia. 95% of the opals are found in Australia, and this is because Australia provides the perfect conditions for its formation due to the ancient inland sea that once covered the continent. Here's some fun facts. Did you know that opal is a national gemstone for Australia? The gemstone for a 14-year wedding anniversary, official birthstone for the month of October, and opals are found on Mars. I'm now going to hand it over to Jeff as he's going to show us more of the type of opals and its origin.
All right, folks, so we're going to take a look at a number of different opals from different locations. And so we're going to start with this. This is actually a type of opal that is commonly found in Indonesia. In Indonesia, you get a lot of what's known as wood replacement opal, where the silica-rich water filters into portions of tree branches and roots that have been buried underground, and over time dissolves the wood and replaces it with the opal formation. And so you can see the incredible play of color that you get all over this particular tree branch or tree root. I'm not sure which one it is, but it is absolutely beautiful. So that's an example of Indonesian opal. Next, I have an example for you of matrix opal from Honduras. There is also crystal opal in Honduras, but this is an example of the matrix opal that forms in the black basalt backing material or host material. This is often referred to as galaxy opal because it resembles galaxies for obvious reasons, as do pinfire pattern opals from a lot of different areas. But a lot of times people will refer specifically to Honduran matrix opal as galaxy opal. Next one I have for you is very rare. This is actually one of the types of opal that forms in the United States of America. This is actually Louisiana opal. And you can see the little bit of play of color on the surface of the opal with the backing sandstone underneath it. It doesn't come out great in this light, but you can definitely see those flashes of reds and greens in there. This is quite rare. It was only mined for about a year or so before the paper company that owned the land canceled the lease to the miner, and so there's a good chance that no more of this opal will ever be brought out of the ground. Next, I have a couple different types of Mexican opal to show you. So the two on the right, the boomerang-shaped one and the trillion-shaped one, are both crystal opal from Mexico, quite rare. Most of the opal you find in Mexico is in the form of these Cantera Boulder opals. And they're known as Cantera opals because of the pinkish red matrix, the Cantera stone matrix that they form in. And this is material that oftentimes gets used for building materials and things like that, but opal can also form in it. You can see the play of colors in the opalized portions of those stones. Next, I have one of the hardest type of opals, and this is opal from Brazil. Again, this is one of the hardest types of opals. It is quite sturdy as far as opal goes and tends to come in this light-bodied crystal form. You can see the beautiful play of colors. This is very, very nice opal to cut because of its hardness. Next, we're going to take a look at Ethiopian Opal. So the first one is going to be one that most people are probably pretty familiar with, which comes from the Willow province in Ethiopia, and this is known as Willow Opal. And generally speaking, it's a light-bodied crystal opal, oftentimes completely transparent and clear. And I like to refer to these kind of as crystal ball opal because you can kind of see how the color plays across and dances across the surface of the opal. This is actually a type of opal that's known as hydrophane opal, meaning that it's porous and so it readily absorbs and releases water. So this type of opal, in my opinion, is far more suited for pendants and earrings than it is for rings, because if you do wear it in rings, you really need to make sure that you take your rings off when you wash your hands, because if water absorbs into the opal, it will interfere with the play of color and it will actually kill the color in the opal until the opal dries off. So it will go completely clear, and then as the opal dries over days and weeks, the color will start to come back. The problem is if you leave these on your hand when you're putting lotion on and things like that, if the lotion absorbs into the opal, which it can, that will kill the color permanently. We don't want that. A lesser known type of opal from Ethiopia is this chocolate opal from the Showa province. This is known as Shiwa opal, and you can see the chocolatey brown matrix that it forms in, or backing material, excuse me, not matrix. And you can see that you get some different colors of the body material, anything from a reddish brown to a deep purplish brown, and then there are some lighter browns as well, which provides a really, really beautiful background for the vivid colors that dance across the surface of it. And that round one is especially beautiful with some really nice patterning to it. The most common, or the most plentiful source of opal, I should say, is Australia. And so there are a number of different types of opal that form in Australia. The first type is Boulder Opal, where the silicated water filters through little cracks in the ironstone. And you can see a couple of different looks that you can get from this Boulder Opal. This is from Kuroi, which is from the Queensland area in Australia. And one interesting thing to notice, and we'll talk about this more in a future show, is the little one at the top. You can see as I tilt it away from me, I'm getting some turquoise blues and purples and things like that, a little bit of green in there. But as I change the angle that the light is coming in, now that switches to green and yellow and orange and red. And so we'll talk more about the optics in another show of how opal actually operates and produces those colors. So that's Kuroi matrix, or Boulder Opal, excuse me. This is an example of Australian matrix opal, much like the Honduran one I showed before. This is Andamuka, which is also from another region of Australia. This is actually treated opal. It starts out with a white matrix that the opal forms in, where you really can't see the colors, and it ends up being cooked in a sugar solution and then in a sulfuric acid solution that darkens the host material but leaves the opal untouched. It just allows you to be able to see it against the dark background. Some really, really pretty stuff. Now, one of the most valued opals in Australia comes from the Lightning Ridge area. Lightning Ridge is known for its black opals, which are amongst the most valuable gemstones on Earth, but they also come in lighter body tones as well. So here's a light-bodied Lightning Ridge opal, and you can see the beautiful play of color even against the very light background. Some beautiful periwinkle blue and some golds and greens and yellows in there. Very, very pretty. And then we can get body tones that range from that light body tone to a slightly darker gray. So this would be a semi-black opal. Gives you a very, very beautiful look to the color. As the background darkens, the colors pop more. And then we get to some lighter black opals. So these are semi-black to black opals. And you can see that the colors are popping even more on these. And typically as the background color darkens, the opals potentially become quite a bit more valuable. And then we make it all the way to our N1 black opal, the little triangle on the left, and then the one to the right is a little bit lighter in tone, but you can see with that dark body tone how beautifully the colors show. Black opal can, the high-end stuff can go as high as $25,000, $30,000 per carat. This is extremely rare, extremely valuable opal, and it will rival even the finest of diamonds in terms of their value. So now I'm going to toss this back over to Maya, and she's going to show you some of the jewelry that we've created with some of these opals.
Okay, guys. Now we're going to go to the fun stuff, which is the jewelry. So I wanted to show you pieces of jewelry that we have for HIneni Gems. Okay, guys, the first one that I'm going to be showing you, it's called the Knights of Crystal Fire Pendant. This stunning, rare 14 rose gold bezel Mexican dark crystal opal with a tube set blue diamond and green sapphire garnet. This is a Mexican dark crystal opal with the blue diamond and green sapphire. The next piece I'm going to be showing is called the stained glass window necklace. This elegant sterling necklace with a Kuroi Boulder Opal cabochon faceted with white sapphire baguettes with a stunning 14 karat gold prong set spine from Pakistan. The sterling chain is accented with the beads of sterling silver, which you have here, and the hezonite and the andalusite, which is a dark beads right here. And the light ones are called the hezonite. And I'm going to throw it to Jeff, and he's going to show us more about the jewelry collections that he created.
Okay, so the first piece of jewelry I want to talk about on this page is the Drop of Fire pendant. This is a sterling silver pendant, and it has two 14-karat rose gold bezeled Ethiopian opal doublets in it. Now, typically doublets are a very, very thin slice of opal. It's too thin for jewelry, and so it has a backing glued onto it to thicken it up and give you something more substantial to mount, and also provides a dark background behind the opal to make the colors pop. This is actually almost completely solid opal, and there's a paper-thin polymer backing on the back side of them just to darken the background, not to add any thickness to it. The little ring in the center is also an accent of 14-karat rose gold as well. The second piece we call Portrait of a Hawaiian Afternoon. This is a Kuroi Boulder Opal from Queensland, Australia, and it has a castellated bezel going around the outside of the opal. In the top left corner, it has a 14-karat gold tube set white sapphire acting as a sun that shines down on the scene that reminds me of two palm trees swaying in the wind in front of the Pacific Ocean in the background. And so I created a picture frame looking overall structure around it to give it that picture frame kind of look. It's a sterling silver chain as well, and it is accented with beads of emerald and blue apatite. And then the third one we call the Fairy Dewdrop Pen, and this is one of my favorites. This is actually, again, a sterling castellated bezel set Australian opal. This is an Australian fairy opal, and it has some very, very gemmy greens and reds and blues in it. And so to pick up on those colors and continue them up the chain, I accented the piece with 14-karat gold tube set rubies, blue sapphires, and green emeralds. So while the chain is sterling, the little accent stones going up the chain are 14-karat gold tube set faceted gemstones, as well as the ones that are soldered onto the outside of the castellated bezel around the opal. So let me go ahead and toss this back over to Maya.
All right. So thank you so much. These are beautiful jewelry. If you want to learn more about opals, there is a video that Jeff created. It's on YouTube, and it's called The Most Colorful Gemstones on Earth. Check it out. It's only a brief video. Likely it's like 6 minutes long, and it's really cute animation about opals. We want to thank every one of you for joining us today, and we want to leave you with a quote. We believe that opals are really a lot of it, like a star and a galaxy, like Jeff said. And so we wanted to share with you this quote: to be a star, you must walk your own path, shine your own light, and not be afraid of darkness, because that's when a star shines the brightest. This quote was made by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Thank you again for joining us, and please like our page as you get notifications of our posting and our next show, which is on Thursday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much again for joining us. Have a great day.